tell me he was going to miss me or that he couldn't wait for our vacation. Something. He fiddled with the heat vents on the dashboard, and I noticed that his hands were shaky. He's just nervous because we're late and he's driving on icy roads, I thought. But when we stopped at a light, he gave me a look, a really deep, long, soulful look, and my heart got fluttery in a way that was well beyond travel nerves. My lease was up in 2 months. We'd talked about it at dinner the other night. That look had to have meaning. That look, the silence, the nerves. He was going to ask me to move in with him. And it's not like I hadn't thought about it. I knew where I would hang my Jackson Pollock prints and which corner of his living room would be perfect for the wing chair I'd reupholstered with fabric from an old wool suit. On my first morning living there, I'd wear my black satin bathrobe and make him pancakes and fresh squeezed orange juice. I already knew I would do everything in my power to keep all bodily functions to myself, no matter what, and I'd decided that someday, when we finally got married, I wasn't going to take his name, but I would consider a hyphenation. Jenny Shaw Holmes had a good ring to it. The drive to Greater Rochester International Airport only took 15 minutes, but by the time we got there, I'd thought up 5 different ways to say, "Yes, I'll move in with you." I'd vetoed 3 and was torn between a staid and dignified, "Of course I will," and shouting, "Oh, Deegan!" as I threw my arms around his neck, getting just teary enough to be sweet, but not messy enough to embarrass him. Deegan was a hospital corners kind of guy. He didn't even have any specks of lint in the leather casing around his gear shift, and all the chrome detailing on his dashboard shone like it had the first day he got his car. Sometimes I wondered if he even had fingerprints, because he never left smudges anywhere. He pulled up to the curb at the jet blue drop-off, put the car in park, hit the hazard light button with his knuckle, and started fumbling around in his jacket pocket. There was something in there, something he had his hand around. It had a hard corner. Holy mother of monkey lovers, I thought. He's got a ring box in his pocket. Maybe it's the ring, the one I'd seen in an ad in Glamour. We were sitting on the couch drinking coffee. He was reading Sports Illustrated. I flipped the page, and there it was. An elegant solitaire with an emerald-cut diamond. I stared at it for a little too long. I pictured it on my finger. I imagined him getting down on one knee and opening the box. By then, we'd been dating for a year, and it seemed about the right amount of time. "What you reading?" he asked, looking over my shoulder. The page across from it was about new spring makeup colors. There was hardly any text. It was obvious I hadn't been reading about coral lipstick for such a long time. "It's pretty," he said, pointing to the ring. I turned the page quickly, my cheeks flushing. He asked where it was from and said, very thoughtfully when I told him Cartier, and never mentioned it again. Maybe he'd finally gotten the ring, and he just couldn't wait. Maybe he'd planned to ask me on our trip, but he was so upset that we'd be apart, and the ring was burning a hole in his pocket. Maybe, when I got to Seattle, I could post a picture of that ring on my hand. My status would be, "Jenny Shaw is getting married." And all the girls I'd gone to high school with, who were now smugly pregnant and posting about cravings, morning sickness, mucus plugs, and something called a boppy, could just eat it. "Jenny," he said, his hazel eyes wide, framed with the kind of dark, thick lashes any woman would die for, but only guys seem to have. "I have to tell you something." "Oh, Deegs," I said, sighing happily. I know, you have to go, but I think I need to say this now." I felt frozen, like time and air and space and the rotation of the earth had all stopped just to hear what Deegan would say next. I have these feelings, and I think I owe it to all of us to figure them out." "All of us?" He gave me a helpless look, and it clicked into place. All of us